Maria, Dolce. Baby, I'm the man. Couple hundred bands in the car. Feeling in a mansion. I'm that nigga.
Okay, I know this wig looks a mess, and we're going to be working on it, so just tolerate it looking a mess because I just plopped it on my head, okay? Alright, so what I'm going to be using today is my handy dandy Got To Be Glued Freeze Spray and the gel. You're going to be needing some water. It's best to use a spray bottle. I don't have a spray bottle, so I'm just using an old bottle of water. I'm going to be using the foam spray to set my parts, so that my part can be set. An array of different combs. So I have a wide tooth comb, I have rat tail combs, I have regular combs. I'm just going to use an array of combs to see which one works best, and scissors. And I will show you where the scissors come into place. So let's get into this. So I did show off this wig in a wig review. I believe this is the wig I got from Alice Hair Company. There is a review of this unit on my channel, so go check it out if you're interested. So this is what the wig is looking like in its natural glory. Well, not really natural glory. Whatever. This is washed, blow dried, and flat ironed. So this is not how it originally comes. As you see that wave that I didn't quite get, that's how the wig naturally gets when it air dries. It gets thick and loose wave. So just quick specs, just showing you guys the inside of this unit. Nothing special. If you want more details on it, just make sure you go check out that video. So I have the adjustable straps as close as I can get, and then I'm going to plop the unit on my head. Now this wig is really loose on my head, which is strange because I do have a pretty big head in my opinion. So as you see with this wig, this part is just way too long for my head. So when you do get a unit or a frontal, if you get, you know, a full lace unit, a lace front unit, or a frontal, and you see that the unit is too big for your head, do not be afraid to snip off the pieces that aren't needed. So we're going to do this in this video. I'm going to show you how to. Again, I am not an expert, so take my advice, you know, with a fine-tooth comb basically, because I'm not an expert. So I'm just going to show you my way of doing things. So I'm going to push this back and let you guys see how much further this lace stops from ear stops. So it comes all the way down there, and for me that is not natural. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to part off this section here, and I'm going to cut this section off. Do not get scared. Just make sure to take your time, because if your lace is too big on your head, it's not going to look natural when you wear it out. It's really gonna like you just plop the wig on your head, no matter how many times you try to make it look good. So I'm going to start off here, and I'm going to cut off this small section. I should have just grabbed some bobby pins to keep the hair from getting in my way. So, you ready? And that piece of hair is gone. It is no longer in existence. So, I cut off that piece of lace so that when I glue it down to my scalp, it looks more natural. So that's what we're going to just continue doing, is cutting off the pieces that are way too big for your scalp. So all of that is gone, and when I go to glue it down, it's going to look so much better because it's not a whole bunch of excess lace. Same thing with your frontal. If you have an area of your frontal that is too long for your head, part off a section and cut it off. I'll show you guys what I did. I did cut off that piece right there, and all I'm going to do is section this small piece right here. Take my scissors and cut on around that edge just so that it blends seamlessly. So I'm gonna put it back on my head to show you what it looks like. Don't mind all this hair on me. Side note, if you do have pieces that look like this, make sure to cut that piece off. You don't want to leave this little eyebrow looking piece on your unit. Alright, so it's, don't mind all my combs that fell, but it's freshly plopped back on my head, and as you see, when I go to glue this is going to look way much better than all that excess lace that was on there, like on this side. As you see, all this right here is not needed. It's going way past my ear, and it does not look great at all. So take your time, measure what needs to be cut. So I'm cutting all of this. Make sure that you see the scalp like area, because you do not want to cut hair like I did. You want to make sure you're cutting against the lace. And boom, there's no getting that hair back. It's gone. But I promise you, when I go to you can already see the difference. Like when I go to lay this down, it's not going to give me an issue. It's not going to overlap anything or nothing like that. So here with the top, as you see, it's so freaking loose right there. So what I'm going to do is part this little section right here. You see the scalp part. I should have really grabbed some bobby pins for this. And I'm cutting around so that, again, when I go to glue this piece, it's not overlapping my ear like crazy. So that can be tucked, but instead of tucking this little piece right here, I'm going to cut it. So keep your finger where you plan on cutting so that you know what part needs to go missing. So I'm just taking this piece and I know you couldn't see that, but all I did was go around where my ear was and cut. Once you do it for yourself, it becomes so much easier. So again, plopping this unit back on my head. Alright, and as you see, when I go to lay this down, it's not overlapping my ear anymore. My ear fits nice and comfortably, and when this is held down, it's going to blend in with my real hair perfectly. So step one is done. Alright, welcome to my lower half. Alright, I had to change my mannequin head to this faceless mannequin. I hope it doesn't scare anyone. And all you want to do again is just spray the front of your hairline. Get it nice and wet, because manipulating wet hair again is just so much easier than manipulating dry hair. So just make sure the front of the head is wet. So all you're going to do now is part a thin section, and when I say thin, I mean really thin, because what you want to do is create a realistic hairline. You want to make it like you have natural baby hairs. You don't want too many baby hairs, and what you want to do is pluck like behind certain sections of hair. So you know how with your real hair, your hair somewhat recedes as it goes back and then gets fuller. You know, the further back you go, that's how you want it to look. Alright, as you see, the hair has been sectioned off to create the baby hairs, and not all of these hairs are going to be made as baby hairs, because again, you want your baby hairs to look realistic. You don't want them to look like big blotches of like fake bangs. Like that's not that's not cute. Let's get it together. So okay, as you see, I am sectioning the section that I already made for baby hairs even thinner, okay? Because like I said, you really don't want a big cluster of hair at all. So this is going to take a while, just to let you know. This is going to take a minute. You have to be patient. You do not want to rush this, because I went through my horrible frontal stage to where I thought I was doing something by making some baby hairs, honey, and all I did was make blotch my scalp, and it was no type of cute. I have you as close to my frontal as I can possibly get, at least to an angle to where I'm comfortable with working. So again, you see I sectioned parts where I want the baby hairs to be. And what you want to do is you do not want to make it so like clustered or whatever. So what you're gonna do is just like pluck 1 or 2 hairs. Do not pluck too many hairs. Again, I've had horror stories to where I've thought I was doing something over plucked and had bald spots all up in my frontal. And yeah, I was not I was not slaying at all. So all I'm doing is just taking certain hairs that I feel are too clustered together, and I am plucking them out of the way. So I don't feel like that's a bad group right here. So that's about enough hair so that when you swoop it, you know, it's not too much. And if it is too much, you know, all you gotta do is just go through again and pluck. So I'm going to stop talking and just show you guys the process. So just follow what I'm doing. It's kind of self-explanatory. Okay, so once you determine what pieces of hair are eligible enough to become baby hairs, you choose your own length. If you want to start cutting short, then cut short. But I choose to cut long because you can always go back and make it shorter as you go. But once you cut short, there's no, you know, fixing those mistakes. So all I did was take my scissors and cut in an up and down motion. And for now, this is what the baby hairs are looking like. So when you swoop them, they look way more realistic. Okay, so all I did was plop the unit on my head. It's not in any particular way, order, or nothing like that. Just showing you guys what it looks like. This is my real hair. And once I lay this down, this here is what the unit will look like with the baby hairs. So what we're going to do is take our baby hairs that we created, and as you see, I didn't create many. I don't want the hair to look too crazy and too, you know, like trying to be over the top. And we're going to take our got to be glued gel wig to stay in place. But anyways, if you don't want to use, you know, the got to be glued gel, there is wig tape you can get, which is basically like double-edged or double-sided tape. You can get wig glue. You can get a wig band that helps the wig stay in place. You can get any of those. There's different alternatives. I do plan on getting a wig band that helps the wig, you know, stay exactly where it needs to be. But until then, I'm using my got to be glued gel. I've tried wig tape. I don't like it. It doesn't stick to my skin. I guess my skin gets too oily or something. And I don't like how it takes my hair out, no matter if I don't place it anywhere near, you know, my edges or not. It still finds a way to take my real hair out. So yeah, I don't deal with that at all. So you want it to get nice and sticky. And I place the middle down first just because it's just way easier for me that way. And then I go through the rest of the wig and place the rest of the wig down. Alright, so the wig is placed on my head. I am letting it dry. It is really tacked down. I just want to make sure it's super secured before I continue on with the tutorial. But as you see, like, you see how my skin is popping. That is how sticky the gel gets, especially when you use the free spray. And yeah, it's not going anywhere. It is on my head, and as you see, the lace is just blending in with my scalp. Like, well, not with my scalp, my forehead. You get what I'm saying. So all I'm gonna do now is try to comb the baby hairs that I created to the front. Okay, so if you hear like a humming or something in the background, that is my fan. I'll be killing myself when I'm making these videos with y'all by turning my air conditioner and my fan off, and it makes my room like super hot. So I'm so sorry, I can't endure the heat today. It's just too much. Back to this. Just taking my scissors and cutting anything that is excess. You don't want anything super long. Baby hairs are in place, and what I'm going to do is to do a test run to see that if I was to file it, would it look super unrealistic and super bulked together. And as you see, if you try to slick all that together, that looks super unrealistic. So we're going to pluck some of these hairs so that it is not so full. So this time, instead of spraying my hair, I'm going to spray the comb because I do not want all of the hair, you know, to get wet. Alright, so let's just comb these baby hairs out and remove any excess hair that doesn't belong. You do not want to mess up anything that doesn't need to be there. Y'all know what we about to grab? That toothbrush. Okay, so the gel I'm going to be using is my Eco Styler gel in the argan oil kind. I want to try the coconut kind whenever, you know, that comes to my state. So it is on my toothbrush now. I'm starting off at the edge, and I'm going to brush the hair down. I just go with what, you know, works for me until I get better at it. So I know somebody's gonna watch this video and be like, honey, no, what is you doing? But hey, look, like I said in the beginning of the tutorial, I am no expert. I'm just doing what, you know, works for me. This is how I do it. Just, you don't have to do it my way, okay? Like I said, go through this tutorial with a fine-tooth comb, practice, you know, by yourself, and do what works for you. You don't have to do what works for me. Too long, so just gonna take my scissors and snip at it some more. Again, it all depends on your preference. I always start long, like I said, and then work my way to shorter. For some people, long baby hairs work. For others, you know, short baby hairs work, and for others, you know, no baby hair works. So again, it's all on how you feel about it. If you know, if you like the look of baby hairs, then go ahead and create you some. If you don't, then skip this step altogether. When it comes down to parting your hair and making, you know, the part stay still, it all depends on what type of part person are you. Are you a middle part person? Are you a side part person? I am a side part person, so I'm trying to balance out how I want my side parts to look. One thing I can say is I did not do a great job with making this scalp look as realistic as I wanted to. I over bleached my knots, and then the tea bag method just didn't work as well, you know, as I wanted to. But anyways, just parts where you want scalp to be. So however you want your part to look, get a rat tail comb and part the hair. And what you want to do is comb the hair, make sure there's no tangles in it, make sure exactly how you want it to look. Then to get my part to set and stay, I'm going to spray it with some water. That hair is more manageable and easy to set the way you want it to set rather than dry hair. So you're going to wet all around the part, and then you're going to comb the hair to where the part is showing. I'm going to use my foam spray, which is wrapping lotion, and this is what I'm going to use to set my part. It is going to make my part kind of crunchy, which is not going to be something that I like, but it's also going to make sure my part stays in place. So you don't want to use just too much products. You don't want your part to get super squishy and hard. You want it to get just going to lay the hairs down and make it stay, but you don't want it to where the top of your hair is all crispy looking. Combing, and I'm making sure I purposely comb in the direction that I want the hair to go, so that again the part is more noticeable. And again, like I said, I know I didn't make this scalp as realistic as I wanted to. Or processed bleach knots, which is not a good thing, but I mean, it's nothing really I can do to fix it. It doesn't look super bad, it just doesn't look great. It doesn't look real as I need it to. Okay, so my part has set, and it is not crispy or crunchy at all. It is nice and soft, but it is in place, which is awesome. That's where the water comes into play, and using very light of mousse or a foam or a gel, whatever. Like I said, you don't want to use anything too much, like in excess, because you do not want your part to be crunchy. You want your part to flow just like the rest of your hair. Alright, so now that our part is in place, like I said, I am not the best of baby hairs, but this is what it is looking like so far. Even though my parting space isn't perfect, well, at least not the space, but my lace isn't perfect, it still looks good and realistic. And even then, like, you can't see the lace here. So yeah, tell me what you guys think. Did I slay this or did I nail this? Like, let a sister know. Like I said, if you have any tips, I'm all for it. Let me know what I can do to make this look more natural, and what I can do to make these baby hairs a lot more natural. But thank you guys for watching. Again, these are my tricks and tips to slaying a lace frontal or a full lace wig. These things work for me. As you see, you know, my process isn't perfect. Nobody process is perfect. It is trial and error. It's going to take a while, and it's probably going to take you 1 or 2 wigs to figure out how to perfectly do it. So if you don't get it right the first time, don't get upset. It happens to the best of us, because I have messed up my fair share of wigs. But yeah, go ahead, get you an affordable wig. Even if you want to start off with a synthetic wig and figure out how to wig look natural like a real wig, go ahead and do that, so that when you get to your real wig, already ready. So yeah, practice makes perfect. Don't do what works for everybody else. Find out your niche and do what works for you. Make your hairline work for you. Your baby hairs work for you. Make your part work for you. Make whatever you're doing work for you. Don't make it work for me or anybody else. Make it work for you, because you're the one who has to wear it. But thank you guys for watching this video. Bye, y'all.
And take it to the hotel, yeah, right. Talking about she won't tell, yeah, right. Yeah.